there. My name is Dewey Jones. I'm a Colorado off-roader, and what we do on this channel is we film trails. We show you all the obstacles, all the turns, all the scenery, all the camping, basically everything we can think of about a trail, we show you. Now, we normally do these trails that you guys know about, Wheeler Lake, Kelly Flat, stuff like that, but we're gonna do a new series. A series of showing trails that both Funtreks and Trails Off-Road cover, but maybe people don't use as much. And today we're doing Coon Hollow. Coon Hollow is in Beque, Colorado, right outside Grand Junction, but this one is rated as a 7 out of 7 in Trails Off-Road, which is severe and might be too much for us if it truly is a 7. I don't think it's a 7, but we're gonna find out today if it is. Now, Funtreks has it as difficult, but this one apparently has high pucker factor, and I like that the Funtreks crew says they really enjoy doing this one, and those guys do a ton of trails. So let's go check this one out and see if this is one that you guys wanna do yourselves. So let's go. All right, let's get right into the trail. Now, today I'm joined by Zach, who, if you've watched some of our other videos, you already know. He has wheeled his XJ today, and the specs are listed as above. He has also wheeled a KL Cherokee Trailhawk in other videos, and we'll talk about what's going on with that in the Top of the World Trail Guide. Now, you can find out updates from him on his Instagram. We are on the early part of the trail, which Funtreks has as moderate terrain. Now, as you can see, it's mostly a dirt road, but I believe the moderate rating comes from entering and departing the washes. These washes can test your approach and departure angles, as well as being somewhat rocky, so I think the moderate rating is a fair assessment. Now, you definitely don't want to take an all-wheel drive sedan in here. Now, the best part of this early trail for me is the scenery. Hopefully the aerial views give you a decent idea of the scenery you will encounter if you decide to run this trail. I think by the end of the video though, you'll want to do this trail, and we'll give you our full review as well as the breakdown of these two trails at the end of the video. As you can see from the aerial views, there are a lot of side roads on this trail, so we recommend using GPS. Now, we use both Gaia and OnX. Now, Gaia is used with Trails Off-Road GPS files, and OnX uses Funtreks route data for their trails. Of course, you could just use Funtreks books with their milepost notations, but I'm finding that GPS files are easier for us since we're also filming the trails. Now, speaking of correct directions, here is the triangle intersection where you will turn left to get into Coon Hollow. Once we make the turn onto Coon Hollow, the trail mostly stays the same with a dirt road with some rocky wash crossings. Now we start to see some cool rock formations off to the sides, and we'll end up at a fairly unique rock pretty shortly. Alright guys, it's so hot that the GoPro shut down because of heat. I'm going to let it cool off for a little bit, but hopefully now some of the images will just be from the iPhone and some of the other cameras I got. We're only going to do it shortly. We'll get back to some GoPro footage, but just showing you it is hot out here. So hot that it shut this thing down. I should get you on that.
I can get you coming down if you want.
I absolutely love making these trail guides. It's fun to explore new trails, and I love learning how to make video. I want every one of these videos to be awesome, but as you'll soon see, the scouting trail guides are going to be a little less formal. If the GoPro dies, we'll shoot with our phones. If the trail doesn't go as planned, we'll get out of the Jeeps and vlog what's going on. And as you'll soon see, that's exactly what we're going to do. After my feeble attempt at vlogging, we'll get back to a typical trail guide action, and we might even run into a wild horse on the next trail. So far, we really haven't found anything too challenging for us. I've been in 4 high most of the time. Zach's been in 4 low, but he says he hasn't needed it. He thinks he could be in 2-wheel drive for it, and I agree with him, especially with it being dry. But there is some off-camber stuff so far, but really nothing, right, Zach?
No, this is a 4 so far.
4, yeah, definitely not a 7, but hopefully we'll run into some 7 stuff later. I'm hoping. Now here is where the trail gets tricky for us. We are approaching milepost 3.9 in the Funtreks book. This is where we are supposed to enter the wash to bypass the damaged original trail. This is also the same route that Trails Off-Road takes. Now I'm going to try to vlog what's going on, but please forgive my poor vlogging skills. It's hopefully something I can improve on with practice, because I think providing real-time trail updates at the time of filming could be useful to our trail guides. Alright guys, so we found this close sign. We're gonna go walk down here and see. This looks like this is the old trail, but it looks like they rerouted this trail through the wash, because this trail looks like it hasn't been used in a while. So let's see what we find. We got Jeeps.
You know, I'll film you trying it. I mean, I've got the winch, so it'd be better if you try and I hang back.
Oh man, that's brutal though. I do stupid stuff, but all right, we might actually know why no one has run this trail in a while. We came to a closed trail sign. We also saw the wash, which looks like it's a little bit more difficult. That had a closed sign, but we're walking back to see. We're trying to find out exactly where we're going, but that might be why this trail, you can't go far in it.
So according to our maps, this is where you're supposed to turn right here. And as you can see, we have a beautiful route closed sign blocking our path, which we're of course not going to push, but we're going to go on foot and kind of see what's back here.
Okay, I'm going to spare you from further attempts at vlogging right now. What we're doing is we're walking the trail as described by both Funtreks and Trails Off-Road. This is the Funtreks portion of the trail noted at mile 3.9, while Trails Off-Road marks the section with numbers 13, 14, and 15. It looks like a lot of fun, and I think I could get some great video in here. It also doesn't seem too tough, but definitely more challenging than anything we had encountered up to this point. Now to briefly recap the steps in here for once it's reopened. First, you're going to make a left to enter the wash where we saw the close sign. Then you're going to navigate the rocks into the wash. You'll stay left at the divider point, and then you'll see the climb out of the wash to the right. Then you'll follow the trail as described by both Funtreks and Trails Off-Road following that. Let's move on to the next trail, but we have more from this trail at the end of the video. Now we will fully cover this trail once it's reopened, but if you get to it before us, Trails Off-Road has a great write-up on the rest of the trail.
There's no good way to do that.
Alright guys, so we're back at the start of the Coon Hollow trail. Clearly we didn't get too far, but we're gonna go up this trail and maybe find some wild horses, just kind of get an idea. This is easy, there's gonna be no obstacles on it, but might be some pretty scenery, so we'll show some of that. Now, I wasn't expecting much of this easygoing trail through the Little Book Cliffs Wild Horse area, especially because I was frustrated by not being able to complete Coon Hollow. However, the scenery and adventure of this journey will reverse the course of the day for me. We'll show you the scenery, we'll give you the info that you need to navigate the trail, but eventually we're going to come back and do a full overland guide of this entire area. I think this entire trail network might be a good area to test your camping skills while you spend a few days exploring. Now, the Dry Fork Trail, which we are on now, provides 42 miles total of trail, although we are only doing about 15 miles of it. Monument Rocks Trail is a 12-mile spur off of Dry Fork. We'll cover that here, but I'll come back and do scouting trail guides of other trails in the area like Spear Hunter, Bronco Flats, and Round Mountain. Then we'll put it all together and film an overland adventure here, which hopefully will have improved videography skills from me, as I'm going to continue learning and trying to make these videos better and better as we go. But let's get on with the trail. Let's go find out what's next. Well, at this point in time, we didn't know we were filming a Monument Rocks trail guide. Zach and I were basically just trying to get to the end point of Coon Hollow to get an idea of what the end of that trail looks like. Now we will stop at this end point and then we will continue on to Monument Rocks.
rolled up on the area where we set the waypoint, and basically the saddle, which is the end point of Coon Hollow, is directly that way, 1.8 miles. So we're thinking it's this bit of ridge you can see basically right over here, and we're pretty disappointed we can't get back there, but we're gonna do some research and see what we could do to possibly get back there later in the season.
All right, now that we've looked at where Coon Hollow ends, we're gonna continue on. We've been on Dry Fork to get here. I'm gonna do a full trail guide at Dry Fork showing you the entire route, all the camping, all that stuff. But there's another trail in this book called Monument Rocks, and that's what we're gonna do now. It's an easy trail. I'm gonna show you the turns. We'll take a look at the sights. I mean, this trail is really beautiful. It's definitely a good place to explore, so let's go. Since we didn't plan on running Monument Rocks, we did not download a GPS track for it, but it was pretty easy to navigate the area with just our Funtreks book and signage. Now we do recommend zeroing your odometer at the Coon Hollow intersection and keeping track of your miles. However, if you are like us and forget to do that, you still should have no problem finding the turn for Monument Rocks. Search for Monument Rocks, we're making our way there. We're going pretty quick. I'm keeping an eye out for horses. So far we've just seen cows, but that was a big cow. But yeah, that's what we're doing. We're continuing on, hopefully finding some good stuff. We'll see what we got.
Oh, my eBay snorkel tube here decided to fall down and rub against my tire. As you can see, it's now a dust eater for my engine, so we're gonna use the tried and true Pro Fix duct tape.
Nice. And we're off to Monument Rocks. All right, maybe after we put the tailgate down. All right, now we're actually off, but the GoPro is still overheating and it died where we needed to make the turn. However, you really don't need to see the turn as it's pretty hard to miss. Basically, after you make the horseshoe turn on Dry Fork, you're gonna climb uphill a little and then you're gonna see a three-way intersection with a sign that says Monument Rocks. If you have any trouble, let me know in the comments and I'll make sure we get it covered in the Dry Fork guide. Now, what I'm showing you is the Monument Rocks trail shortly after the turn. In an effort to keep this video on point and to get us to the horse and rocks, I'm going to show you the highlights and key moments from this 12-mile side trail off of Dry Fork Trail. What we are doing here is we're using some switchbacks to gain elevation, but unlike the switchbacks in our harder trail videos, these are pretty easy to negotiate. Now the trail does include several mildly steep hills with embedded rock in the trail. Although we'd say this trail is slightly tougher than the Dry Fork Trail that we were previously on, it would still be classified as an easy trail, but I could see it being a challenge in wet conditions. Anyway, we are approaching a stopping point, so let's pick up there and then we'll talk more about the trail on the other side. Most of the things, if you come out here yourself, you'll really get to see some of the good imagery, and I mean, it's a beautiful, beautiful trek, and hopefully we'll run into some horses. We'll see. We're off again, and so far all we are seeing is cows. However, what I didn't know is we weren't even in the wild horse area yet. Shortly after passing the cows, we'll go over a cattle guard, and this signifies our entrance into the Little Book Cliffs wild horse area. So keep a lookout for horses. Now we are about 4.3 miles into the Monument Rocks Trail, and we are coming on one of the most major intersections on this part of the trail. Here you need to know that you need to take a right to go on to Monument Rights. Now straight will take you onto Round Mountain. So let's check out the right path up to Monument Rocks. Now that we have gained some elevation, we can get a better perspective on the surrounding landscape. This area also includes a few optional route options, and we will take this one at milepost 5.2. This option has spectacular views and is only slightly more difficult than the other lower route. We will also try some of the other optional routes, but I'm only recommending this one, and I'll tell you why I don't recommend the others once we get there. Join back with the regular road. That was definitely a very worthy spot. Shortly after that fun option, we ran into this intersection and we figured maybe lightning would strike twice. However, I'll just say it, it's not worth it. I don't mind pinstripes if it leads to awesome scenery or a great obstacle, but this route really didn't offer any of that. I ended up taking both the lower route and this route, and I think the lower route had better views. But let's see what Zach thinks, as he ended up going through the entire overgrown portion of this option while I backed up and took the lower route.
Yeah, no, it's alright.
I got some pretty nice pinstripes. Not that, you know, I don't give a shit about that thing.
We are now on the last portion of Monument Rocks. This trail would still be classified as easy here, but it does become slightly more difficult than everything you have encountered so far. There are lots of twists on this portion, as well as embedded rock with small climbs and descents. I was using 4 high here, and even though I did not need 4 low, there were 1 or 2 sections where I had to give it a little bit more gas to keep myself from stalling. However, if you have a trail rated vehicle, you should have no problem here. Now, if you have a less capable all-wheel drive vehicle and you're inexperienced with wheeling it, this section may be tough for you. It's definitely doable, but I don't want to lead anyone into danger. It's definitely a harder, easy trail than Dry Fork is. So always remember to use your own judgment when off-roading, and I'll talk a little bit more about the trail on a bonus segment at the end, but let's get to that horse and find some rocks.
Hey, we have a horse.
That was awesome, but now let's get to those monument rocks for which this trail is named.
Oh man, he's in the road.
Alright, now we are on to Monument Rocks. Also, we weren't trying to chase that horse, it just came back onto the trail. We are going to take a left at this 3-way intersection, which will take us directly to Monument Rocks. On this drive, you're going to get plenty of good views of the rocks, but it's only half a mile to the base of the odd-looking white rocks for which this trail was named. Now, Zach and I will park here, and I'll enjoy a tasty beverage in celebration of a day turned around. Well, this day did not go exactly as we planned, but of course you got to have a beer rating, and we did do Monument Rocks, so we completed a trail guide. I'm not sure how great it was, but it's time for some beer because we are right there at the rock. So yeah, let's have a beer. Not too rocky. On the hike. Although you can drive all the way down to the natural spring at the bottom of the trail, we chose to hike it in case any horses were nearby. Now, the section of trail past the Monument Rocks is a bit overgrown, so expect some pinstriping as well as some tight maneuvering, so you may not be able to get as many vehicles down that way. We personally think it's best to park at the rocks and take the hike. Alright, so we are at the spring. It looks like it's definitely used by the animals here. Doesn't look that appetizing though. Has some stuff on the top, but you know, it must be good water because they're definitely using it. Alright, so besides my work calling me endlessly, and they're probably going to call me in the next hour, one of the delays in publishing this video is trying to get the answers to what the heck was going on at Coon Hollow. Now, Kevin Tanner, a member of Grand Mesa Jeep Club, has told me that the closed signs should be removed by the BLM, and the route as described in the guidebooks and Trails Off-Road should be good to go again. Apparently, this blue trail sign that me and Zach are checking out was being considered as an alternate route into the wash, but it sounds like the BLM decided to just keep the trail as it was previously. So the real question is, who should I bring on the trail with me to do the full trail guide and show you guys what exactly the trail looks like after the signs have been removed? Alright, I want to jump in real quick. I'm on the way home, I'm not filming. and I'm just basically I'm just basically seeing the trip as a recreational user, not trying to think about shots, not trying to think about where I need to get the drone up and making sure I have the right footage. And I'm just thinking, this is a fun trail. It's beautiful. I like kind of the scenery that I'm seeing on it. I like the fact that I can drive, you know, somewhat. I'm not going faster than 15 miles an hour, but it is fun at 15 miles an hour, which is typically the trail speed here in Colorado. But yeah, you know, it's a good trail. I like the fact that I saw a horse today. I bet you I might see some more, and if I do, I'm gonna try to film them, although it might be dark by that time. But yeah, you know, like, that's cool. You know, there's cows on it. There was good scenery. It was not off-road challenging, but you know, it was fun to explore. There's definitely more side roads that I could check out. So yeah, you know, it's a fun little trail. So I'm the wrong gear, but yeah, good trail. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video as well as those two trails. Now, I likely won't be doing more multiple trail videos as I want to focus on one trail per video. But that's the point of these scouting guides, to do a little bit of experimenting. These scouting guides will allow me to cover a lot more trails, and we will be focusing on less known trails as well as well-known trails under unusual conditions. That's actually the case for our next video. Also, I'm working on a full trail guide that's going to be awesome, and I can't wait to show you guys that one. Well, this is the end. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked it, consider watching some more. And if you want to see if I get any better at making these videos, as that is my goal, consider subscribing. Alright guys, have a great day and get out there. The trails are definitely calling you.